Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have some repairs to do, and then we can continue our pursuit of what was originally a missile boat, but has kind of morphed into a pursuit for a heavy bomber. I mean, I would love to have both of them. For now, we need to tick forward and get these repairs completed. Or not entirely completed, all except for this rifleman. So that'll be this grasshopper finishing up. Brick is still injured, but we have the financial report in 3 days. So we probably want to deploy now. Let's hop in the mech bay and double check that everything is good. It should be. Yeah, it is. And let's check our barracks. Of course, we can't get any training for Brick, but anyone else here we can.
Confirmed.
So gunnery for coach. Sounds good. What else do we need? For GV, a point of piloting. I guess that's fine. What else do we have? Oh, Hardcase can get a point of guts. Looks good.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Commander?
And Cliff can get something. What do we want? You are a missile boat pilot, I believe? Yeah, you pilot the Trebuchet. So in that case, I think tactician. Absolutely. So we'll take that.
Training complete.
Fantastic. What else? Magus. Ooh, okay. So we have a choice here. Magus can either take a point of piloting, which would get us Phantom or Mobility Expert. And that's pretty good. Plus 1 hex move and avoid mines for 1 turn, for a 3-turn cooldown. Or we could alternatively go up here and take something like Warlord, which honestly I think would be really, really good for the Centaur. Just an active plus 1 accuracy, plus 1 clustering roll, and plus 10% to called shot. I think that that is really, really strong for the Centaur. So I think we'll take Warlord here.
Mech warrior
We'll just have to remember to use it.
Waiting for orders.
And
Good.
anybody else?
Good to go.
No, that is all good. Okay. So at this point, we are ready to deploy. Not go to the store. Why am I going to the Argo and then the store? We want to go to the command center. Okay. So, from here, what are we interested in doing? Things with high salvage, ideally. I mean, there's still that attack and defend tempting me down there, but I really don't think we're in a position to do that. I think that our mechs aren't good enough for that at this point. We could maybe do something like this. That's an urban battle. Yeah, we previously looked at that. What is this one? 3 skull only. Assassinate. This is a pretty low difficulty mission. I would like something a little bit better, but we've not had good missions here. We might want to move on fairly soon because we are kind of not getting very good mission turnover. No doubt about that. There's also this duo duel here. I mean, that's an interesting thing to do if we have time, I think. One of these episodes, but for now, I think we'll do this assassinate mission. We'll just get it over with. I want to get this salvage done. This will pay for not our entire financial report, but a good chunk of it. So that'll be fine. And I just want to maximize the salvage here. So we're going to need to not deploy Brick. Brick is injured. And who are we going to want to bring in that slot? We could bring Coach. Coach does already have hoplite affinities, so I think that'll work. Yes, I know the Black Knight is underweight, and yes, I know that you think this will be hard, Darius. You are wrong. This is not going to be a hard one. I'm like 95% sure on that one. I'll see you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are, all loaded up. I heard a helicopter as we were loading, so presumably there is one. That is what that means.
Command interface initiated.
Okay, what do we got? This is, very rough terrain. No doubt about that. So we know that our target is up over here, Brock Armstrong, and we know that the enemy escorts are here. So we're basically going to have to spawn on this ridge and fight our way down through this. Now there's probably enemy reinforcements. We should expect that. I think spawning exactly in this recommended spawn point is the place to spawn. I think this is ideal. So we'll spawn right here, and their escorts are going to be in this same sort of area. So this is basically an ambush. But who's ambushing whom? It's an arrow 4 there. We can get in behind it for sure. Okay. So I'm just looking at what they've got here. Gauss Rifle M7. This is not super, super scary. The HVAC 20 on that Rommel is a little scary. Okay. So, in that case, I think we're going to move our Centaur down over here. And we'll position it about like that for now. Where are our allies at? Oh, they also spawned right in the same place. Noted. Well, that's not awkward at all. So that's fine. We've got a lot of units right in here then. Who is this for? This is... I didn't even look at the... this is against Steiner. I didn't even look at who this was for, though. So this is the local government? Okay, noted. So that Excalibur is just going to hang out over here. Do we know what Brock Armstrong's mech is? No, it's way out there. Okay. That's fine for now. So our Grasshopper is going to want to move in, like, behind this pylon, right? I think that's absolutely the right call. Wait, can we actually do this? We only have 0.2% hit odds, but is there any point in not rolling at least the kick here? We're spawn protected, so there's no point in not rolling this, I think.
Failed to connect.
Obviously, but it was worth a try. 0.2% was very low hit odds, but you might as well. So I think we'll just position our riflemen somewhere around here. And then we'll brace it. Next up would be our crossbow, which similarly, I kind of want to do a kick here. We're not going to fire any weaponry, but we can roll the kick. We lose nothing for this, since we're spawn protected. We're going to miss, obviously, almost certainly, but it seems fine. So the Shadowhawk I'm going to send down after this. Actually, should we send the Shadowhawk up over here? I'm going to. I'm going to send the Shadowhawk up after this guy. I don't think we're going to need to send anyone but the Shadowhawk up here. I don't expect that the Centaur one-shots this Rommel. It could, but I don't necessarily expect it.
I hear ya.
The Trebuchet should probably be positioned out over here to help out on this side. Okay. Next up would be the Hoplite. And the Hoplite, I kind of want to move in for additional meleeing. So we're going to do something along the lines of this. We're going to melee this Demon Horn. We're not going to hit, but we're going to try it.
I got you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Here we go.
The Black Knight, I'm also going to move down over here. So I want to... Actually, I didn't want to move there. I wanted to try the melee, but I guess this is fine. So phase 13, we'll see where they end up moving to. It seems like in this version of RogueTech, vehicles don't move all that much. They tend to just kind of sit around and fire at you from a standstill, which is not, in my opinion, the best possible thing, but okay, we'll take it. I don't think that's the best way to use vehicles. I think you should have at least some evasive at, like, all times. So we're going to move in on this Rommel here. We unfortunately are not able to melee it, it seems. But we certainly can move into this rear arc position.
I'm moving.
It's only 5 evasive, but we're still going to take that, and we're going to fire rear arc on this Rommel. Softening up that rear arc, I didn't expect to get a one-shot out of that. But we definitely did soften that rear arc. Not as much as I would have liked. Okay. So this Griffin is moving up and attacking this pylon. That softens up the rear arc for us. I like it. So they move quite late in the move order. No doubt about that. Phase 21 is going to be... Let's see, that Griffin already moved. I'm not sure who their Phase 21 mover is. Oh, it's the cavalry. Okay. That'll be fine. I'd love to see that come up and attack this Rommel. Instead, it chose to do nothing at all. Yeah, the AI is having some difficulties. I'm going to put the Trebuchet here for now, or actually keep the Trebuchet here, and we're going to fire on this guy's rear arc, softening that up for the Shadowhawk.
All weapons are go.
Cool. So that's a nice softening. We might be better off attacking side arc at this point, but I think I'm going to attack rear arc. Okay, now this guy is going to move, and we'll see what he decides to do here. More specifically, he's probably just going to fire. Seems to be what the AI has been doing of late. Hopefully they change that soon. Okay, the machine guns are painful. So that was a good call to machine gun the Centaur, for sure. I do like that choice by them. I mean, I don't like it, but that's the best choice they could have made, but they should have moved this guy in closer. The Excalibur is going to move up and attack this Rommel's side arc. The Rommel's side arc should be significantly weakened at this time. Yes, it is. So that is good. I like that choice. At this point, I really want the Hoplite to be melee attacking this unit right here. I'm just going to fire the LRM-15 ER medium laser. We're just looking to soften it up. The demon here. I think we missed that melee attack, which on 85% hit odds is...
That didn't hit.
Well, that's something, anyway. Okay. Next up is the Black Knight. The Black Knight is also going to hit this guy, meleeing. We have 88% hit odds here. Let's go. Okay, we did successfully melee that one. That should significantly weaken that side arc, as well as the rear arc a little bit. So phase 13 is now going to be this Rommel. We'll see what it gets done. Yeah, that is extraordinarily significantly weakened. Okay, we actually haven't hit the rear arc of this thing at all. We might want to move our crossbow over here for its attack. Oh, they're going for the Excalibur here. I love this choice. We don't have to repair that.
Commander?
Okay, so the Grasshopper is going to go for the rear arc on this Pylum, which is a little bit weakened already. We're going to hit it with everything we've got. This is very likely going to destroy it unless our damage just goes all over the place.
Targeting for physical attack.
Successful melee based on the audio there. I have no idea what happened with the rest of that attack because we can't see anything. So, yeah, our damage did spread out more than needed, but the Pylum is still significantly damaged. So we'll take it. Next up would be our Rifleman, and I think that the Rifleman attacking this Rommel is the absolute right call here. Light him up.
All weapons on go.
Okay, not the greatest shots in the world there, but it definitely exposed the structure of the Rommel, and this guy is very close to dead.
Yes, Commander.
Our crossbow, like I said previously, is probably actually best off to attack this side arc at this point. I think I'll not fire the LRMs in this minimum range here, but let's melee this, and yeah, that's one very, very dead vehicle. I like it.
Hostile removed.
So that looks phenomenal.
Hell yes.
Next up, of course, is going to be our Shadowhawk. So we're going to be going after this guy up over here. Alternatively, we could just go for the kill on the Rommel. And that seems pretty free, to be honest. We just come over here. We don't even bother firing probably the machine guns or the MRM. We just fire the pulse laser and the chainsaw and melee attack. That should kill it.
Moving to position.
Okay, we did not hit inside of the exposed structure with the melee attack there, but we got it. All is good. Chainsaw, I think, finishing the job there. So that looks good. Next up is going to be this guy. And of course, there's also this Pylum over here, which we'll see what that decides to do. But it is significantly softened up. Arrow 4 on the Centaur. I mean, I've seen more annoying shots than that, for sure.
I've got your back.
At this point, the Centaur is going to come in over here. We apparently still can't melee. Okay. But we can position into this side arc. Which side arc are we better off positioning into? Technically, it's the left side, which I believe, yes, this is the left side. There's flames on the way, but there's not much we can do about that. So we'll just attack this side arc, and hopefully we get good clustering and eliminate this guy. Copy that. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Fantastic. 3 vehicles down. Okay, now there's only one remaining target, and it's already weakened. So our crossbow can move in over here. Which angle do we want to melee from? We absolutely want to melee from the right side of this crossbow, which is this side. So that looks good. We're just going to melee and fire the lasers. Successful melee, but we did not penetrate the armor, I think. Okay,
Mech
that
warrior.
pylum is still
Show
alive,
'em what you got.
but it doesn't move for a while. Oh, we melee'd the front? Oh, that's rude. Okay. Well, we'll see what our allies end up doing here. The Excalibur attacking the pylum indirectly. I don't love that choice. We get to move our Grasshopper before the pylum moves, though, so it should be fine. We can also position our Rifleman right here, and given these hit odds, this is relatively safe. Do it. Okay. We broke through the armor there, but the pylum is not destroyed. We only did 1 internal damage. The Black Knight can absolutely position right up over here and finish it off. This should be a dead game. Oh yeah, it totally is. Okay, so there's all the escorts done. Now we just need to find the assassination target. So the hoplite can start to move up over here. It's unsteady because it missed its kick, but that's fine. We can just brace it like so.
Commander.
And now we need to go find that assassination target, which we know is somewhere out over this way. In terms of how to cross this river, up over here? Probably.
On
Okay,
my way.
we're
Come
probably
on.
going to exit combat after this as well. So
What
that
can I
will
do
allow
for
us
ya?
to move a fair amount faster until we get that thing in sensors. We're calculating the trebuchet's movement right now. Sure. We'll just position up over here.
Sprinting.
Okay. We do see it moving around out there. Okay. It has LOS on us and can fire on the hoplite. It missed. But we now know where this thing is. That is an enforcer. Okay, that doesn't seem particularly threatening. I wish we had seen it before we had moved our hoplite, but whatever. I guess we'll just position our grasshopper up over here for now. Okay, next round. Our centaur is going to close in as much as possible. I think we probably do fire the LRMs here. Oh, 0.9%? Never mind. Let's not fire the LRMs. We'll see what our allies do. They might fire a few LRMs or something, soften it up a little bit. Okay, yeah, they got a little damage in there. Our crossbow can position up over here. It has a direct LOS. This is pretty long range, but we'll take it.
I copy.
Okay, a number of hits there. Softening up that armor just a small amount. I like it. Our long-range fire support are going to be the ones that are going to really be doing this for a while. And our rifleman's a little overheated, so I'm just going to sink its heat. That'll be okay. The grasshopper wants to close in as much as it can, but it's not very able to, which is expected. And the hoplite is just going to position here, and we're going to fire on this enforcer. Light him up.
Let's see what you got.
An okay shot. Not phenomenal, but okay. And we didn't get knocked down, so that's good. The enforcer gets to move now, and we'll see what he does. Moves into, I believe, cover there, and fires on our friend the Excalibur. Doesn't really matter. He misses, but we don't care one way or another. So he's out of range of the Black Knight. The Black Knight is absolutely going to need to close in here. Next up would be our Trebuchet, and the Trebuchet can position here and have a direct LOS. 20, almost 30% hit odds. That's better than I expected, to be honest. We'll get a few hits there and soften up his armor. Looks good. Next up is our Shadowhawk, which needs to sprint in as much as it can. We are just running at this guy, mostly. Our Centaur is going to look to climb out of this over here, I think, right? So we're going to head up over this way.
Aye, aye.
And just go through these shallows. That'll be fine. So the crossbow can close in a very small amount here, and other than that, continue to light up this enforcer.
Aye, aye.
Decent shots there. We're starting to actually do some decent armor damage. The Griffin moves up, does not fire. That CT on the enforcer is what's weakening. Ooh, I like this shot too. Excellent. More missiles. Do it. Okay, phase 18. A couple of hits there. Yeah, that'll work. None of them in the CT, sadly, but that's fine. So next up, our Shadowhawk is going to move up. It can kind of keep up with our Centaur, but not really. Our Grasshopper, of course, has fallen a little bit behind, but that's to be expected. It's keeping up okay.
What are your orders, Skipper?
Our hoplite is going to drop additional artillery on this enforcer.
Engaging
That
target.
did not look like a good artillery shot. Yeah, that was not a good artillery shot.
I'm your
Okay,
Spaniel.
next up would be the Black Knight. The Black Knight needs to close in as much as possible. It's pretty out of range. We might want to consider upgrading the Black Knight to ER large lasers at some point, but I'm not sure we have the heat capacity for that right now.
Here we go.
Or the ER large lasers, for that matter. Additional damage to that enforcer. Looks good. Yeah, we're definitely weakening his armor significantly at this point. We'll see what he decides to do. Does he exit this cover? He doesn't. But he does step slightly closer, and that's good for us. We like slightly closer. So next up is going to be our Rifleman, which does not have range, and this is a good candidate for an ER PPC. Heat is going to be a problem, but we can maybe ditch the large lasers if we had the ER PPCs. We don't. That Griffin is going to lob some missiles at the Enforcer and get absolutely nothing done. That's fine.
I've got your back.
Next up would be our Centaur, which actually gets a side arc attack here. Sure.
Roger.
Position it right here, right into that weakened side arc. I like it. Light him up. Structure exposure, and he's dead.
That's one less.
Wow, that went very well. Very well indeed. The area has been cleared. Let's get out of here. So, in terms of salvage, I mean, there were no heavy bombers. We're not super shocked about that. Those are kind of rare. Not tremendously, but kind of rare. We're going to run into more of those, I think, in higher difficulty missions for sure, but also higher tech missions. So that's definitely something that we need to think about, attacking things like Word of Blake and Comstar. Okay, so we got about 500k out of that. Looks solid. And our Centaur took some damage, but nothing major. I would definitely like to consider upgrading that Rifleman. I don't think grabbing the Enforcer makes sense. We could grab this Gauss rifle, or this ER small laser. I do like ER small lasers. They're pretty funny. This HVAC 20? I don't mind that. What else do we have here? Ballistic improved FCS. That's pretty solid. And 4 tons of HVAC 20 ammo. The only thing that we don't have here that I'd like to get is the Gauss rifle and the Arrow 4. But I feel like what we have here is slightly better for us. What do we get out of this? Dual ER medium lasers. We did get the Gauss rifle. Dual medium pulse lasers. Internal combustion engine. We can get rid of that. Small jump jet, Gauss ammo. So we didn't get the Arrow 4, but overall, that was not bad in terms of salvage. 10 million C-bills worth of salvage? Yeah, we'll take that. That is phenomenal. I would love to think about reworking our Rifleman at this time. The Rifleman is extraordinarily underwhelming. I think that's very clear. And what would we want to rework it into? I think we're going to be limited primarily by hardpoints there. I'd like to maybe toss in the Gauss rifle that we just got. I think we have 1 ballistic hardpoint in that Rifleman variant. And then potentially, if we were able to upgrade to like dual ER PPCs on the other arm, that would be that would be incredible. I don't know that that's going to be a viable thing. For one thing, I'm pretty sure we don't have dual ER PPCs, but that would definitely be interesting. Wow, 6k to repair. Yeah, go ahead and do that, Yang. But while you're doing that, I want to take a look at our Rifleman here and just see. This Rifleman here, not our replacement Rifleman. I want to see what we can potentially do to this, because this mech is quite underwhelming. It overheats a lot, and it doesn't do all that much damage either. So, let's see here. There is a ballistic hardpoint. Where is that ballistic hardpoint? In the CT? Oh, that's a terrible place for the ballistic hardpoint. That means that our biggest weapon that we can put in there is a 2-slotter, which I believe is like an AC5, because an AC10 is that. But yeah, we could fit in an AC5 here. It's not phenomenal. We could go for a UAC5, except that that's 4 slots. We do have double UAC5s. Do we have a mech that we could utilize dual UAC-5s on? Because that's pretty good. 1 ballistic hardpoint. No ballistic hardpoints, of course. I mean, the crossbow does have omnis. Yeah, we just kind of can't. We can maybe get some decent upgrades into this rifleman, but... I mean, what we would essentially end up doing here... Oh, we do have 2 ER PPCs. Okay, so those are the same tonnage as PPCs, but they will generate additional heat. So this thing already runs hot. If we were to do this and upgrade these to ER large lasers, which we could do, if we were to do this, this thing would run very hot at this point. So this is not particularly viable, but this is a solid upgrade to the vehicle. What if we were to put in... let's see here. FCS standard right now. Do we have any good FCSs? I mean, we could do an FCS improved. It's not phenomenal, but we could do that. Now, we can put in ferrofibrous armor. That will buy us 1.6 tons. If we were to put in endosteel structure, I don't think we'd be able to do that. We'd be running low on we don't even have any endosteel structure. Okay. We'd be running low on slots anyway, so we could definitely go for like a comm suite in here. I think that's reasonably okay. So a couple of decent upgrades. An engine heatsink +2, but I'm pretty sure we can't have any engine heatsinks. Yeah, 2 out of 0. So that is expected. So that is absolutely fine. We could definitely also go for a sensor long scan, which wouldn't be bad. So those are some reasonably solid upgrades to this thing. The main thing that it's lacking now, it's got a significant amount of heat generation. So we would absolutely love to put in a pair of extra double heat sinks. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a pair of extra double heat sinks. So is there a point to the ferrofibrous armor? The answer is no. Maybe we should drop the ER large lasers and put the regular large lasers back on. What's our heat delta doing that? Heat delta is 60 heat. Each of these large lasers produces 24 heat. So not firing the large lasers would still be effectively heat negative for us. Okay. So we drop the large lasers. I think we go down to ER medium lasers. So ER medium laser bright blooms would be fine here. Yes, heat is still going to be a big deal. Heat delta of 48 heat. But we're not going to be firing those ER medium lasers most of the time, I feel like. And what we're going to do instead with this additional tonnage... Oh, we can't quite put the AC-5 in there. The reason we can't is because of weight. However, ferrofibrous armor would allow us to. We've also got a UAC-5 that we could try to put in there, but, I mean, slots, right? We don't have the slots. So it has to be the AC-5. And then we could absolutely put in the ferrofibrous armor, which gives us 1.6 tons to work with. Then we can put in some AC-5 ammo in this leg. 0.6 tons to work with. We can crank this up. 0.105 tons. Okay, this does feel like a good upgrade. The ER PPCs are going to do 55 instead of the 45 of the PPCs. The ER medium laser bright blooms are going to do 30 instead of the large lasers that are going to do 40. So those are a small downgrade, but that's a net of 10 total damage increase across those weapons. And then we've got the AC-5, which is going to do an additional 45 damage. I feel like AC-5s are kind of underwhelming, to be honest. I think this mech is still going to be a little underwhelming. The heat efficiency is a little lower. The ER medium lasers, honestly, I'm kind of thinking about ditching those and just going for regular medium lasers. The medium lasers are not really the point of this mech, and that will help our heat efficiency in a lot of situations. So our heat delta is 33 heat. If we're not firing the medium lasers, that's 18 heat. So we're still going to be pretty heat negative here. Heat is still going to be a problem for us. But we don't have any additional double heat sinks right now, so we can't really make any changes here. We can't go to we can't add any engine heat sinks, although I'd like to, but we would have to have a bigger engine core, which we don't have the tonnage for. I think that this mech is just generally going to be kind of mediocre, but this is a solid upgrade to its long-range capacity, is the idea, and kind of its anti-air capacity. So that's okay. Yes, I'm aware that the mech is 0.1 tons underweight. There's really not anything we can do about that. Right. It is what it is.
I'll get it in the schedule.
So we'll get that going. The Rifleman 4D is going to take 8 days to get refit there. That's fine. We're going to work on all of these simultaneously. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get those repairs and refits done, and we're going to head out and look for some additional salvage and test out this new Rifleman, but I think we're still going to be a bit underwhelmed by it. What we really need for that Rifleman is more heat sinks, and that just means more salvage. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.